Sorry, just let some people in. Yeah. So good morning, everyone. Yes, my name is Elizabeth Booker. I'm the founder of Wealth from Little, and I help women change the way they think about money so they can start building wealth. Right. And I am so passionate about money. I'm very passionate about God. I'm very passionate about income streams as well. Not relying on just one income stream. I'll tell you a little bit of my story with income streams. A few years ago, I studied to be an engineer. I studied process engineering, and I worked as an engineer in a particular company for close to 8 years. And towards the end of my time there, the company was having some issues, and we had investors that had come in to invest in the company, and there was some restructuring going on, and I got made redundant. At that point, I realized the need for multiple income streams. I did have a side business. I'd had a side business for about 10 years, and I was making cakes. I was making celebration cakes, wedding cakes, engagement party cakes, birthday cakes. I was making amazing cakes, and I loved it. And having that side income was awesome. But with that business, and it still goes on now, but with that business, it took me almost 5 years to get profitable for many reasons. One was my mindset about money, my mindset about collecting money from people to do something that I love. I loved making cakes. I really did. I enjoyed the designing, the creativity that it gave me, and I just gave out multiple discounts until like I wasn't being really profitable. Secondly, I didn't know the real reason why I had that second income stream. Probably God was preparing me so that I had a profitable, sustainable business going forward, but I had spent most of the time treating the business as a hobby. And there's a very big difference between a hobby and a business. A hobby costs you money, and a business makes you money. And you can be doing exactly the same thing and expending exactly the same energy. But if you treat your business like a hobby, it will keep costing you money as opposed to making you money. Great. So the purpose of income streams is to make your money work for you and to bring more money into your home, into your pocket, to your wallet, so that you can grow that money, and you have, enough for yourself, and also to share, to help other people, to impact the world with it. And as I still let more people in, I'm just going to share with you for 5 minutes why it is so important that we have multiple income streams. And, your income stream could be, there are different ways. You could have paper assets, investing in stocks, investing in companies, right? I do that. I have that, and I've done that in the past. That is one income stream. Most, depending on how you do it, it might be a slow route. It might not be, but for every single one of us here, our wealth plan is completely different. What's right for you may not be right for someone else, right? Then you might be interested in investing in property. We talked about that, last month, with our last speaker. You might want to invest in property, and now, from what he said, he shared with us that if you can invest in one, you can invest in 10, right? He shared the strategies that we can use to grow our property portfolio, if that's how you want to make your money work for you. Secondly, you can invest in businesses. You can buy a business, or you can start your own business. And that when you do that, you're able to actually put in, if it's something that you love, it's a business that you really love, you're able to put in love and passion into that business, and you'll definitely get the rewards from that. So those are different ways of making, those are different multiple streams, and those are just 3. There are many other ones, that you can use to make your money work for you. And there are also different types of multiple streams in every area as well, right? Now, why is this so important? I shared with you in the emails that over this last week on my social media and in my emails, that the rules of money have changed. In the last 50 years, the rules of money have changed. But as they were changing, they didn't tell everyone that, look, the rules of money is changing. Not everyone knew. So some of us are still operating on good rules, but they're kind of obsolete. So it's hard to see the result that you want. Rules like stay in your job and work very hard. That rule has changed. That rule has changed because in those days, yes, people would stay in their jobs. I remember when I had an internship. When I was around 20, I worked in an oil refinery, and there was an engineer there, elder man. And I asked him, how long have you been in this company? He said 33 years. And I was like, why? He said, well, because of his pension. And he had made an arrangement. He had this arrangement, and I'd never heard it before that day, you know, when I was 20. He had this arrangement that if he stays in the company for X amount of years, he was going to get his final salary, percentage of his final salary for life. How amazing is that? A percentage of the final salary for life. And, you know, this was called defined benefit pensions, right? You got it for life, no matter how long you live for. So you retire at 65 and you live till you're 100 and you get X amount every month. You don't have to worry about anything else, right? But that's changed. Now, companies don't help you get rich. It's your job to get rich, right? Companies don't help you manage your money. Companies don't sort out your pension. They sort out themselves, and you have to sort out yourself now. So what happens now is you have to contribute to your pension what you put in. And what you put in, if you decide you're going to put in 2%, 3%, 1%, that's what you're going to get out. You know, that a proportion of that is what you're going to get out. It's very different now. It's very different. So that's one. Second thing is save. And don't get me wrong, saving is important, but you have to save strategically. You have to save with intention. What is the purpose of that intention, right? What is the purpose of your savings, right? If you save to hoard, you're hoarding money because you feel scared. You want to see all that money in your bank account so that you can feel secure. If that's the reason why you're saving, then you are operating on very old money principles. Because then years ago, we were working with, not too long ago, actually, we were working with 2% interest rates on your savings, 3%, 4%, 5%. 2 years ago, I had a high interest account that was making 5% on everything I put in that savings account. And I think I shared it on my blog a few years ago. But that is different now, especially this season that we're in with what is going on in the economy. It is so different. Leaving your money in the bank, you're literally losing money every day. And don't get me wrong, I'm not telling you not to leave your money in the bank. You should be saving, but you should be saving to grow it. You should be saving to grow that money. You need to be saving it so that you can accelerate that money. You can make it work for you. Leaving it in the bank, it's like leaving a house locked up and you go away on holiday for 20 years and you think you come back and make the house beautiful. No, you will come back even though no one has been there. The house would have crumbled. It'll be full of dust and dirt, and it would have started deteriorating just because no one was living there. And that's how money is. It needs to be in motion. It needs to be used. It can't just be left alone and left to wrinkle up, right? So yes, it's important to save, but also to invest it in what is the right for you, right? So next thing that I wanted to say was live below your means. That was the rule, live below your means. And don't get me wrong, yes, it's a good rule to live below your means. But the rules are changing because most of us, even when we live below our means, we still can't afford to live well. our means is not enough. We need to stop thinking about living below our means and start thinking about expanding our means. Expanding our means, that means using our what we have, our talents and skills, our mind to actually to think about how to push out. You know, you're making so much this year. What can you make in 5 years, right? Don't let fear stop you, because everything in the future is unknown. So it can be great, but most of us make it think that it's going to be bad, so we'll stay where we are. That is the wrong move. Safety is not going to keep you safe. Trying to stay still and not risk anything is not going to keep you safe in the next 10, 20 years. You know, the COVID has shown us anything is how fast the world is changing. Not just the UK or the Western world, but every part of the world is changing. Okay, I won't go too much about that. But honestly, expanding your means is where we need to move to. Living below your means is okay, but you need to move. You need to be thinking about expanding it. So those rules have definitely changed. Finally, investing in and being safe. How we invest has changed as well. How we invest has changed. You know that we know already, yeah, that most people would say, you know, investing in the stock market for long term, yes. Don't get me wrong, I do that. But that is not the only thing that you have to do. It's not the only thing. You need to, and there are ways to do this. There are ways to do this, to calculate how much you're going to need, calculate what inflation is going to look like. In 1998, if you were on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and you won £1 million in 1998, right now, it will be worth 538,000. So anyone who saved that money and didn't invest it or invested in it in a very slow method would have almost just about 50% left now. Final thing is that has changed that I'm going to talk on, and there's many more, but I'm not going to go too much, is the fact that the way we use information has changed. And that is so key. Because before, we would just say, oh, we'll just get information. That was what people used to say in those days. And that's why most of our parents say, go to school, go and learn. And that's all about gaining information. And there's a very big difference between information and education, right? And to get to where you want to be, you need real knowledge, and you need to put that knowledge into action. And that knowledge is not just the information, but it is the education. And what does that mean? It means you have the information, but you know how to put it into action for what you need to do for yourself. So you've read the books, but you know how to put what they've said in the books in action for what you need to do for yourself. You know, it's all well and good knowing that 2 + 2 is 4. But if I ask you to bring me 4 cups of water, if you don't know that you need to get 2 cups and another 2 cups to make 4, and you can't translate the 2 + 2 into real life situation, then you have information. You don't really have true knowledge. So I want to thank you all for coming here. Today I have an awesome speaker. Bridget Addo, she's joining us. She's a great friend. She's a dear mentor of mine. And she's going to be talking about income streams. She's going to tell us about herself. She's been an entrepreneur since she was born, most likely. And she's going to share all about income streams with us, because, you know, the Bible talks about having, you know, multiple income streams, not just one, you know, not just relying on just one thing. The Bible talks about having at least 7 income streams, and that's something that we should all be aspiring to. Like, and you know, one thing is that once you're aware that it's something that you want to do, you start spotting the opportunities. And you start taking advantage of them, even though that they may feel scary, or even though they may feel worrisome, or you may feel unsure about yourself. So I'll bring in Bridget Addo. And good morning, Bridget.
Good morning, Elizabeth. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. So honoured to be part of this webinar this morning. Thank you for the opportunity, Elizabeth. I'm super excited to be sharing some concepts with you this morning. Before I do that, I want to just introduce myself a little bit, tell you who I am, what I do, my background. So my name is Bridget Addo. I'm a Ghanaian born, British bred entrepreneur. I'm a consultant. I give creative direction and I create strategy for brands and organizations and ministries. So I've been doing creative direction consulting for about 11 years. But prior to that, I've been building actual physical businesses myself. So my entrepreneurial journey started probably about 25 years ago. My first ever business was a beauty business at the age of around 18, when my husband, who was my boyfriend then, we'd been married for about 20 something years. I was so passionate about the beauty industry. My father wanted me to do law. I rebelled, and my husband, who was my partner in crime at the time, he gave me $200 or $300. I still can't remember the amount. And I went to beauty college, and I graduated from beauty college, and I used my mother's garage to open up a beauty practice. And that was my first ever business at the age of 18. Going beyond that, I've always been entrepreneurial. I was that girl who was in the playground charging people to write the lyrics to songs at school. People would ask me to write pop songs, and I'd charge them 50p, 20p. People would ask me to help them with their homework, and I'd charge for it. So I've always had a desire to create wealth using my gifts and my talents. I've never been in a position where I felt that I can't make money. When I first met my husband, I was 17. We started dating when I was 19. And when we were dating, I had just come out of Polytechnic. My father said, do law. I had other ideas. And to sustain myself, I started going to Togo in Cotonou and buying French underwear and selling to my neighbors. That business became very, very profitable to the point that by the time I was 20, I had moved out of the house and was able to pay my own rent, my own apartment. This was in Accra in Ghana. So I've always loved business. I've loved the thrill of seeing people's faces when I give them a beautiful product or a service. It just makes me happy. Contrary to what most people think, I'm not an extrovert. I'm extremely introverted. I love my personal space. And I'm a Christian, so I love precious time with God. But I've always been in that place of wanting to serve, always thinking, what can I do to make someone happy? What can I give someone? What product can I go and find to serve my community with? What service can I provide? I started music ministry at the age of 16 when I became born again in the church, kind of full time. So I've served in the church as well across different departments with my gifts. So now I live in London, I work in London, I'm married to the same guy who helped me start my entrepreneurial journey 24 years ago. I have 4 children, 2 teenagers and 10-year-old twins. And I currently run a marketing agency in London, an award-winning agency, and I also have a private consulting firm, and I also have about 4 product businesses. So that's a little bit about myself. I come from a very creative home. My mother and my sisters are all creatives. They all make things with their hands. I'm the only person whose creativity seems to be in my head. I live in my head a lot. I create in my mind. So I'm a creative person. Now, picking up on what Elizabeth said about multiple streams of income, I work in the marketplace with my own businesses, and I also help other businesses and ministries create wealth. Over the last 11 years, I have seen the growth of information. It's literally breakneck speed. The way information is evolving, social media marketing, apps, artificial intelligence, all those things that are at our disposal right now that we use to push our businesses, grow our businesses, it's moving so fast that keeping up is really, really difficult. I, on an average of every 2 weeks, I have to update my apps. If you use apps like WhatsApp, the Facebook app, if you use banking apps, all those kind of apps, even Instagram, if you use them regularly, you'll realize that once in a while some features won't work for you, and that's because almost every 28 days information is evolving. New information, new ways of doing things are coming out. So we live in a world where there is so much information overload. There's so much out there, and Elizabeth is right. Education is different from information. Information is what is fed to you. You have a choice as to whether you consume it or not. The only time you don't have a choice when you're consuming something is when you are powerless, right? So if you have a small child who, you know, if you're a mother and you've had a baby before and you want to feed your baby, and that baby doesn't want to eat, sometimes you have to be like, come on, you get that food in your mouth. But when you're older, or when your child is older, you can't. Now I can't force my children to eat anything if they don't want to. And it's the same thing with information. It's being fed to us. And if we want, we consume it. If we don't want, we don't consume it. It's different from education. Education is something that we have a lot of control over. So I want to demystify the two and then talk about the multiple streams of income, and then share 3 pillars that everybody needs to understand before they start creating successful businesses and then expand to multiple streams of income. So multiple streams of income is a very old concept, okay? A lot of people feel like it's a new concept with the internet age and lots of internet courses and internet gurus talking about 7 streams of income and side hustles and all those things. In actuality, the modern day industrialized process of creating wealth is what brought about single streams of income. Way before Western industrialization came along, most societies would work seasonally. So for example, even in Africa, most people would, in Africa, the majority of the continent has hot climates. So we would pick berries and nuts at certain seasons, and then we would harvest certain fruits at certain seasons, and then we would hunt at certain seasons. So if you look across certain communities and cultures, like the East Africans, they would consume milk and other products that were seasonal. So if cows were gestating, then they would have lots and lots of milk, and they would engage in the production of milk and its byproducts. And then in another 3 months or so of the year, they would concentrate on growing certain crops. And most businesses were family-run businesses. So children, mothers, fathers would all be involved in working the land for a season. And then after that season, when they harvested and they was waiting for a new harvest, they're now going to maybe meat production. So cultures around the world, Europe as well, Western Europe, for example, Spain, you have seasons in Spain where large families would grow and harvest olives and then press the oils out and then can those oils and sell it to neighboring countries. And when, after they sold those oils, they would now go back into the season of growing the olives again or waiting for the right seasons. But then go into production of maybe salted fish. So they'd go to the sea, they'd go to the Mediterranean Sea, and they would fish. So all cultures pre-colonial times engaged in multiple streams of income. Most homes, children were trained to till the land, to fish, and to hunt, and even to go into production of beauty products like oils and butters, and they learned how to do hair and sew clothing, and when it was cold, you couldn't be outside weaving fabric. So multiple streams of income have always existed from the beginning of time. Now, I want to speak something that might ignite in you an understanding of how God sees multiple incomes. God himself compartmentalizes himself into different spaces for him to be able to achieve his desired results when he's manifesting or working. So many people say God has at least 375 or 365 names, one for each day of the year. I believe there is more. And the reason I believe there is more is when you look at the Jewish Bible, there is 365 names of God maybe, but when you go outside into different linguistic groups of people, we have other ways of expressing who God is that cannot be expressed in the Jewish language. So you have God is the El Shaddai God, he's the many-breasted one. He's the Adonai. He's the Rapha. So he's our healer. So he's a doctor, right? God is Jireh. He's our provider. So he has storehouses. God talks about being able to provide from his riches and glory. God is the bright and morning star. God is the first and the last. So God has many, many names. Jesus is the rose of Sharon, the lily of the valley. He's Ebenezer. He's Emmanuel. He's the firstborn of the dead. He's the first fruit of the dead. So when God wants to do something, he shows up in a different hat and a different uniform all the time. And based on that, we were created in his image. Now, as human beings, we are like God. So we are humankind. That is our race. And God is man, and we also man. We're like God. And when God creates each person, he deposits in us some of himself. If you look in the New Testament, he talks about the offices that he gives the church. He says, I give some apostles, some prophets, some teachers, some evangelists, and some pastors, pastoral or deacon roles. So within our even spiritual assignments for work, some of us will be apostolic, will be visionaries. Some of us will be prophetic, will kind of understand the mind of God concerning what should happen, what happened, what solutions should come about because of those challenges or new things. Some of us will be teachers. We just have the ability to explain things, right? Service providers, coaches. Some of us will be evangelists, marketers. Some of us will be pastors. So we'll be teachers. We'll teach at universities, we're lecturers. So then those are spiritual calls and offices. They don't only just apply to the church, they apply to everyone. Because the Bible lets us know that in the last day, God will pour his spirit upon all flesh, and even young children will be in the position where they can speak God's mind and counsel concerning what's going on the earth. And then we have our personalities that God gave us. Some of us are predisposed to being like myself, living in my head, always think about creation, concepts and ideas, how I can help solve solutions. Some of us are cheerleaders. We're very extroverted. Everything we see outside in the world, we want to talk about it, want to make some noise. So we are designed for multiple streams of income. Human beings are created to do many things. If you have kids, once again, probably the word bored is one word you hear too many times a day. Mummy, I'm bored. Daddy, I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm bored. And the reason why children are bored all the time is because they have an inner navigation that causes them want to be consistently plugging themselves into discovery and doing new things. So after a while of doing the same thing for like 10 minutes, a child's inner navigation will say to them, I've done that. What else is there to do? Children are restless. And so by design, human beings are created because we are stewards of the earth. We are created with the ability to identify different things that need to be handled, and we have the inner workings and the inner abilities to do those things. Right, so let's come to modern day. It's 2020, and we have a gazillion social media platforms. We have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, Viber, Telegram, Snapchat, TikTok. We have all these platforms, right? We live in a digital age. This is the age that John in the book of Revelation saw when he said that he saw the increase of knowledge and men were going to and fro. We are living in these days. We also live in the days of Noah, so that in the end days it shall be like the days of Noah. Men will be buying and selling. So we are living in a dispensation where there is a trend which I believe has come from heaven, regardless of the fact that man may be using it for things that may not glorify God. We are still living in a day where God has given us a lot of information, and the spiritual atmosphere means that I can sit here at the other side of the country and speak to Elizabeth and Lydia, who is not even in this country, and Chantel and all of you guys here. We are able to communicate and meet and share because we are living in a very prophetic time. And the reason why this is such a prophetic time for multiple streams of income and for entrepreneurs is because we are living right at the edge. We are not in the last days, we're on the last hours. Now, Elizabeth knows that I always talk about people who are business-minded being the last leg of a race towards the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. I'm very passionate about this thought. This kind of thought that I have is biblical. God tells us that there will be a lot of buying and selling. The book of Revelation talks about the mistress sitting on the waters, talks about trade. A lot of people be led astray through trade between nations, which we are seeing today. Now, I have the opportunity on a daily basis to look into the inner workings of big media and big corporations. My work has been featured in places like the BBC, the Evening Standard, CNN. I've worked with media conglomerates and big organizations, and I know how much wealth and power exists in that space. So when I say that God is really interested in Christians being in business and exploring multiple streams of income, I'm really confident what I'm saying. So multiple streams of income means that you are able to utilize your creativity the way God wants you to use it. Once again, look at your children in the house, right? Lydia, look, your little girl, I'm sure she keeps you busy. Mine are older now, but still, I still have the situation where they always want to do so many things all the time. So we are designed to explore different aspects of ourselves. The reason sometimes to why we feel despondent and depressed and we feel despair, even we're in a 9-to-5 job and we can still pay the bills, is because our soul, the soul who is the real person who lives between the body and the spirit, knows what it's supposed to be doing or has an understanding of what it's supposed to be doing. But when it's not functioning that way, we feel unfulfilled. And so I want to talk about 3 concepts today that those of you who have toiled around in your mind with the idea, what would it look like for me to step outside of my comfort zone, which is the flesh, and explore using my talents, my gifts, and my God-given gifts to create something beautiful, not something that would just generate financial rewards, which is good, but something that can make me happy. When I go to bed at night, my heart is at peace. I toil during the day, I go to bed and I'm happy. I know that I'm leaving a legacy for my children. I know that I'm leaving a legacy for my community, my church, my nation, the charities I love, and I can live the way that God really wants me to live. So in all this noise, right, I'm sure that when you're on Facebook, Instagram, you will see hundreds, if not thousands of ads a day. Literally, sometimes you're not consciously aware, but if you're scrolling through social media, you will see at least 100 ads a day on join this course, how to become a 7-figure Amazon bestseller without working hard, how to go from 0 to hero without lifting a finger. I'm sure you see all those kind of courses. I am a course creator myself. I create courses for organizations, and I've invested tens of thousands in courses to look into how organizations create courses, what they teach. And what I have found is, because we are living in an information overwhelm kind of dispensation, a lot of the courses that are out there will tell you things such as how to start a business without an idea, how to start a business without any information. I'm going to kind of bust a few bubbles, and I've been doing this for a while, and say it is spiritually wrong to think that you can start a business without cornerstones. Cornerstones, foundations are extremely important. It's like trying to build a house without a foundation. The Bible talks about foundations throughout, from the Old Testament, especially the book of Proverbs. The writer of Proverbs consistently talks about foundations, foundations, foundations. You cannot build anything without foundations. You cannot, it's like a man stepping out to build without planning and measuring. And most gurus will want you to step out and part with thousands of pounds and try and build a business without laying a proper foundation. So before I talk about these 3 concepts, I want to give you a couple of case studies, which I promised I would do. Now, these case studies are based on 2 clients that I have worked with, 2 probably my favorite clients or projects I've worked with in the last, I'd say, 8 years. One case study is a skincare range, which I'm very excited and proud to talk about it all the time, because one of the most successful projects I've done. This particular client and I met in 2014. She'd already had a business for about 15 years, creating skincare from home. It was a beautiful skincare range. When I was sent it, I only work with brands I believe in. I tried the skincare for myself. I'm a great skincare fan. I love looking after my skin. I thought it was amazing. However, she told me she wasn't making any sales. They had some friends. So I looked at the whole project and I advised that you've got the product in your hands. Your marketing all over the place, it's inconsistent marketing, your message is inconsistent. Let's go back to the drawing board. And my beloved client said, I'm not going to go back to the drawing board. I know what I'm doing. I'm 10 years older than you. Just get me sales. I said, no, I can't do that, because you have to have proper foundations around your business. So we worked on a few projects for a couple of years. We got some great results. But I wasn't satisfied. She still wasn't satisfied. So we had a conversation after 2 years working together. And I said, look, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's create a brand new foundation, even if it means we create another product range based on the existing product range. And that's what we did. We went back and we explored 3 key things. We explored concepts, we explored ideas, and we explored branding. Okay, so we explored concept, which is what concept is approach, perception, and viewpoints. We looked at that. We decided that this product range wasn't for everyone. The original product range which she had was for everyone. There was no, she didn't have a viewpoint on who it was for or why she was making it, okay? She was just, I'm from the Middle East, we're great with oils, it goes back in my family, I'm just gonna mix some products together, put in a beautiful packaging, and it's gonna sell. That wasn't happening. So I had to go back and talk about your viewpoint and your prospective customer's viewpoint, right? I had to go back and recreate concepts. So we decided that it wasn't just a generic skincare product, it's going to be for mother and baby, right? Then we looked at ideas. We re-explored ideas, and ideas are plans, processing to achievement, and formulas, those 3 things. So we looked at what plan can we put together in creating this product range, not just for putting the products in the bottles, but for selling, for pitching to a big organization, and eventually for creating a community and a marketing plan. We looked at that and we came up with something quite specific. So it meant that we changed the color of the packaging. We changed the color of the packaging and we changed the logo. And then we went on to branding, which was the personality, the temperament, and the attitude of the brand. Are we snappy talkers when we're talking about the brand? Are we, is it kind of very soft-spoken brand? Is there lots of loud music around the brand? Do we do a lot of memes? What kind of personality do we want to give this product? And as the founder, what kind of personality do you want to step out into the world with? Now, as the founder of the brand, a little bit backtracking, this lady, the reason why she went to skincare predominantly was she had a life-limiting disease. And so she was thinking about legacy. But because she had a life-limiting disease, it meant that her skin, she was having a lot of cosmetic surgery all the time, and she felt really she didn't feel confident to be in front of the camera. So we looked at her personality and I said, you need to step out and be who you really are, and stop being prim and proper. And she embraced that. So we were able to go through these 3 processes: concept, which is approach, perception, and then her unique viewpoint on why she wants to produce this and who her customer is. Then we explored ideas, which was creating a plan, looking at processes to achievement, and then a formula for execution. And then we also thought about branding, which is the personality, the temperament, and the attitude of the product and the brand. Once we did this, we're able to put together a presentation. Meanwhile, we hadn't even gone to factory to create any samples yet. So we literally had a presentation on a PowerPoint, and using these 3 pillars to create the foundations for a new brand, we're able to approach Boots or Walmart. For those of you in the UK, it's Boots. Those in America is Walmart. Literally 4 weeks after the conversation, I was able to walk into a Boots headquarters in Nottingham and sign a deal and get this woman into 300 stores in the UK. So that was going back to just 3 basic cornerstones: building a business on an existing product range, which herself, her husband, and 5 children had been building for 15 years before we met. The second one was a Ugandan Irish lady who had a beautiful jewelry brand, and she had, there was a name for the brand. We met, she was 5 years into the business, she'd been doing market stalls, etc. We met, we renamed it, went through these 3 processes again. These 3 processes helped her refine even the kind of products that she was creating. So within the 3 months that we worked on concept ideas and branding, she stopped doing beaded jewelry and explored silversmithing and goldsmithing, opened up a studio, and within the 4 years that we worked together, another success story, featured in Vogue, Cosmopolitan, sold out on Wolf and Badger, featured in American Airlines all over the world, partnership with Rolls-Royce, Jaguar, etc. So these 3 processes are extremely important. I noticed this pattern right from my early 20s when I was building businesses. Like I said, I live in my head. I'm a thinker. I'm a thinker creator. So I'm creative, but then I think and I'm creative. And so I would look at what was really working. Like when I started my beauty practice, I was living on a road where there were 3 other salons. All I did was embrace my British upbringing and started making tea for my customers, right? I was 18, 19, my first salon. There's 2 other businesses on the same road who were more mature women, had, you know, massive clients. I started with nothing. All I did was, this is how I was brought up. This is my personality. I brought my personality to the business. If you're African, you know that Africans were more vocal than Europeans. But having my formative years brought up in Europe, I was a bit more reserved, born British. So I made a cup of tea for my customers, hot afternoon, but I still make tea and biscuits for my customers. And I'd had a little playpen in my hair practice, salon practice, where children can come and stay, have cuddly toys to play with. It was something different culturally. I wasn't afraid of offending anyone. I wasn't afraid of being the quiet person. I had worship music in my studio. So when people came, not only did they do their hair, we had deep conversations. The music would create an ambience and an atmosphere. We had conversations, deep conversations. People had challenges in their marriage, and my practice became a safe space for people. There were conversations we'd had on a Saturday, it would continue on another Saturday with the same client, and it became a counseling session. And that was my personal brand. It was the place that you can come on a Saturday, have your hair and your nails done, have your makeup done for church in the morning, have a cup of tea, have some bourbon biscuits or, you know, shortbread biscuits. You could bring your babies to the salon. They can have toys and stuff in the salon. So I created a brand without even noticing. So as I went along in my entrepreneurial journey, I started not being afraid to do things I love, really that just spoke to me and came from the heart, right? I always put my personality, my personal touch on everything I did. I've never been trend led. I believe in trends. I study trends and I use that to grow business for my customers. But I always say, drop the fluff. Drop the fluff around your desire to create a business, and let's go back to who you are. Let's look at those 3 cornerstones. Let's look at your approach, your thought process. Let's go into your head. Let's look at how you think, what's inside your head. Let's be like Jesus, right? Jesus said, I'm here to do my Father's business. There's nothing else. He had problems with the Pharisees because he was so true to himself. That was why Jesus was crucified. It was his Father's business, and that was it. He did things his way. He went to people's houses. There were prostitutes, there were liars, there were tax collectors, people in society who trending by culture. You didn't do that. But Jesus kind of said, hey, this is how I do it. This is my thought process. I've come from somewhere else. I'm different. So, you know, there's a story I love so much, New Testament, I think in Mark 7 or something, where the disciples had toiled and they weren't getting the fish. And Jesus says, cast out into the deep. Do it my way. They did it, it worked, right? And that began to build trust in Jesus. Jesus used the concept that he used to get his disciples was to show him little things that he was capable of, telling people about themselves. Before you came here, you were under a tree. He told one disciple that. He said, leave things behind, leave your brothers behind, leave them, come and follow me. He spoke to people at an angle that probably wasn't the norm of the day, but it was Jesus's style. He was consistent in the way he called people. His marketing style was very consistent, out of the box. Didn't fit in with culture, but was consistent. Once he got them following him, he then helped them solve problems like, I can't get any fish. Jesus has cast out in the deep. They didn't think about that. That was where the shoulder end. It's scary, right? In the middle of the storm, people are up. People are trying to make sure the water's not coming in. Jesus would be sleeping. He had his own personal style. It didn't really make sense, but people started trusting him. And so the 3 cornerstones of building a business are concept, ideas, and branding. I always say that concepts and ideas and branding are your foundational processes for building successful businesses and multiple streams of income. Once these things are in place, marketing, business growth, and wealth creation will feel natural, enjoyable, and effortless. Have you ever been to the fruit market and you've heard them shouting, a pound a bunch, a pound a bunch, a pound a bunch? Then someone else is saying, come get your fruit, come get your fruit. Like, you probably wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. I wouldn't. But the person selling the fruit and vegetable they're cut out for that. They enjoy that. They enjoy the buzz of, shouting out to passerbys, and people stop, and then they sell the fruit and the vegetables. Very simple strategy, right? Making noise. That's what I'm saying. Some people are extroverted, some people are introverted. And so branding, which is the last one, which is personality, temperament, and attitude, is where a lot of people are afraid to let go. A lot of people are very, very afraid to let go. And what modern day gurus or these courses teach is that you have to follow this proven method. You have to use social media. You have to do that. And I believe that when we're at the foundational stages for every human being, before you can start becoming a great entrepreneur, a great business person, it's just understanding this basic thing. And it's not difficult. It's not difficult. Maybe you're on this call and you're thinking, I want to change the world. Like, I want to change the world. Bridget, I want to change the world. I've said so many things in my marriage to my husband, and he's been so taken aback. And I have to remind him that you were the person who gave me £200 and I defied my dad. You know who you married. I don't go by the rules. But that's just my personality, right? But some people are more quiet. Some people want to serve. Some people want to bring something new into the world. They want to help people alleviate pain. They want to help people who are in domestic abuse marriages. They want to help people struggling with their weight. They want to help people who come from sexual abuse backgrounds. They want to help people have low confidence. Some people want to go into catering businesses and grow and become known for amazing food or beverages. Some people want to create shoes and clothing. Some people are into modest clothing, right? You're sick and tired of seeing people's boobs hanging out all over the place on TV. And you're thinking, how can I create a company that will be stocked in mainstream shops, and our clothes are beautiful and they fit well and they speak well and they honor God. We all have dreams and visions, but I want you to understand, I've been doing this for 11 years. I've been doing, like I said, business for over 22, 3, 4 years, but I've been marketing and branding for about 11 years. I've worked with pop stars, I've worked with TV companies, I've worked with media. I've seen that there is a space in the market for Christians like you to step in and explore. And you don't have to be pressured to feel like you have to create this multiple $1 million business, which is what everyone is saying. Some people don't want to create multiple million businesses. Some people do, and that's okay. I always say, for those who know me, I always say, I give you the permission to be yourself, right? When thinking about what the future could look like for you, creating a business. It's not, you don't have to have $10 million in your account. Some people don't want that. Some people do. And one of them, that's me. I like money. I love money. Money does good. I give money to those who sometimes need it. I bless people. I teach my children the same principle and concept. Every week, my children give to those who don't have. And so therefore I need money. I need it. I like it. I want to give to the church. I have dreams and visions of buying chairs and tables and pianos for churches all over the world. So I want a lot of money, right? So my financial goals, I want to be I want one of the wealthiest Black people in the world. That's my financial goal. But on the other flip side, when I die, because everyone's going to die, when I stand before the great white throne and the books are open, I want to hear, well done, faithful servant. Because what Christians don't realize is that people think you're just going to be judged for the fruit of the Spirit. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience. Yeah, it is that. But you are going to be judged on the works that you do. And the majority of the time that we spend is working, either building a business or working for other people. And so when you do stand before God, you are going to give an account for your gifts and your talents. And that's why sometimes there's this sense of restlessness in our spirits. It's not just Christians who experience this. I've heard a lot of very, very wealthy, non-believing people talk about the fact they have so much money, but they still feel unsettled, as if something is wrong somewhere. So going back to basics is the course that we are talking about. I'm going to round up and let Elizabeth take a little bit deeper, and then if you have any questions I can answer. But we are opening up a space for you to come in and spend 3 weeks with myself and Elizabeth. This is my place of absolute passion. This is what I was created, and this is what I was born for. I have found my calling. For those of you who know me, I went through a very rough patch in my late 20s, 30s, where my husband and I just weren't seeing eye to eye. The toxic upbringing he had took the better of him, and we were in a domestic abuse situation. I sought God's face and I asked him a lot of questions. Do I stay? Do I go? Do I leave? What it is. And I believe that God caused me to grow through what I went through, to understand the kind of pain that a lot of women go through. They say that 1 out of 4 women are in domestic abuse situations. If that is correct, then on this call, there were some of you are in toxic marriages. And a toxic marriage, I know, is not the place to build a successful business. You can't sleep, you're not having the kind of sexual intimacy that you desire, your husband's not kissing you, he's not loving you, you'll both hate each other, probably you're being beaten, you're being forced to have sex. So when I kind of agreed to do a collaboration, I always think, God, you know, when I'm serving women, I want to show up in such a way that whatever I teach, even if it's a week, you can use that to liberate yourself and move forward and create a vision. The beginning point is vision. And all that business vision is these 3 things. That's it. If you don't know what business vision is, it's concept, ideas, and branding. And that pulls in your approach, your imagination, your perception, your theories, your thoughts, your unique viewpoints, your plans, your processes, your formulas, your personality, your attitudes, your temperament. In these 3 weeks, I will help you identify that with Elizabeth, so that at the end of 3 weeks, it will feel like you've just had an oxygen tank attached to you. Literally, you feel so refreshed and ready for this. Some of you have been building businesses for, I know, months, weeks, years. But if you're still going around in circles, I've met people on courses throughout the years who still contact me and still kind of don't know where to begin. I recently spoke to a lady who I was on an online course with 3 years ago, and she called me and she wanted a joint venture partnership. And I said to her, you still don't know what you want to do with yourself. You cannot build a business. I cannot enter into a joint venture partnership because you don't have clarity. You don't have a vision, your foundations, you don't know what you're doing. You're talking about this. Do I do mental health? Do I do babies? What do I do? So you've got so much experience, but you don't have a vision for what you want to do. And it's a very simple thing. It's just embracing and understanding these 3 concepts. Concept, ideas, branding helps you identify who you are, what you're here for. Success leaves clues. Everything that you need to become extremely successful is already there. Mm-hmm. You have it. It's not outside of you. You don't need a guru outside to tell you. If someone tells you you don't need any business ideas, to start business, it's incorrect. You do need ideas, but those things already exist in you. If the government, right, and I'm going to tell you something right now, no one foresaw what's happening, okay? This pandemic, no one really foresaw it happening. If like in China or any other country where there's a lot of strict measures around what you can and can't do with your life, in a lot of Asian countries, they're very strict with certain social media platforms. There's no Facebook in China. They have their own social medias, which is monitored by the government. These trends, the technologies that we see today, will evolve, will grow, will expand. In some places, it will diminish and be shut down. Right now, we are having draconian laws being pushed down our throats about, there's a 10 p.m. curfew in the UK right now. You can't have more than 6 people in your home. My children and my husband were 6. My parents live down the road. They can't come and visit. If me and my children, my kids at home. My dad is an elderly gentleman. I have 2 beautiful sisters, and my nephews and nieces, they can't come to my home and visit because of the laws. I want you to understand that these things shall pass away and they will always change. But the basics which God has given, in the beginning, God created, right? That's the first sentence in the Bible, comma, the heavens and the earth. God is a creator. So the foundational processes for human beings are the ability to create. We all have it. We all have it. The ability to give birth to a child, that decision is between a man and a woman. But the ability to bring that child into the world properly, make sure that its cord is not around his neck, all those things, it's a midwife. It's a nurse, it's a midwife. And so what a consultant does, what a coach does, what a creative direction person does, myself, Elizabeth, our kind of job is not to tell you how to get pregnant, how to carry a pregnancy, when to get pregnant. Ours is to be there to say, baby's coming, push. Head is coming, push. Oh, hold on a minute, cord around the neck. Give me a sec, I'll take that cord off. That's what a consultant does. That's what a coach does. That's what I do in my daily practice. I don't tell my clients what ideas they need. It's already there. They just don't know it's there. When you're pregnant, it's your pregnancy, but you still have to go to antenatal. You still have to go to the clinic, get the scan. You want to find out it's a boy or a girl, you have a professional who tells you. So this 3 weeks will be like that. It will be a 3-week where you will get the blueprint. Because the apostolic work, and right at the beginning of this presentation, I'm just going to round up, Elizabeth. Right at the beginning of this presentation, I spoke about the 5-fold ministry as it pertains to the church, but every single person, according to the word of the Lord, is it Joel, the book of Joel, that in the, or Hosea, Joel, Hosea, in the last days that we will all prophesy, we'll have dreams and visions. It's a prophetic time and season that we are living in. When you open, I have a daughter, my eldest daughter went through a time and a season where she hated herself. She's probably the most beautiful person I've ever seen. My daughter is absolutely stunning. She told me she didn't like her skin, she didn't like her hair. I didn't know what she was talking about. I'm 5'3". I'm the shortest person in this house, in my home. She's slender, she's tall, curves in the right places, looks a bit like mum, looks a bit like dad. She's absolutely stunning. This child told me in tears. We even had to explore counseling for my child. Didn't like herself, didn't like the way she looked, didn't like her body. I thought, what is this child talking about? Until I had to kind of take a step back and think about the work that I did and the kind of campaigns that I've seen being shot and the messages being pushed and the lies that are being pushed from the camp of the enemy about the fact that we're not beautiful unless we look a certain way, or if you come from a certain minority group, the odds are against you. I agree that if you come from certain minority groups, things in the past have happened, but the blood of Jesus was shed for all men. Bible says, in Christ there's no Jew nor Gentile, there is no slave, there is no free, like we are all one in Christ. The same blood shed for me was shed for Elizabeth, for Chantel, for Simone, for everyone in this call, which means the same spiritual and physical advantages exist if we will go for them. Okay, so the course that we are going to run is business startup. right? And the business startup is the foundations. Once you have these three in place, marketing will come natural. You don't need marketing course, yes, if you want, but once you have the foundations, you will find that it's easy to be yourself. It's easy to be yourself. My son took some kebabs to school last week. They normally do sandwiches for lunch. They've been going through a phase where they want chicken kebabs, so we've been making chicken skewers. Came back with money in his pocket, and he said, I'm dripping it. That's the language. Mummy, I'm dripping. I said, what do you mean you're dripping? He said, Mum, listen, I've got £3 today. I said, where'd you get the money from? The kebab. I said, what do you mean the kebab? He said, yeah, because you know, I took it to school the other day and the boss was like, give me one. I said, it's 20p a pop, man. It's 20p a pop. I was like, oh my God, you're going to get in trouble in school. But he came home with £3. My son is the opposite of myself. He's my second child. He has no filters. He fears no one, which sometimes we have to tell him to be careful. He's absolutely fearless. However, he has identified that he's a natural born leader. Everything, even in my home, if I say, can you please an iron shirt, he charges me, which obviously I don't pay him. But right away, he's already identified ways of making money. And I hate to say it, but I'm that kind of parent who, tongue in cheek, I do say don't do it, but in my heart, like, go girl, go boy, because my kids have already identified. One is an author already. She's written a couple of books, and I encourage it. You know, I don't say, you know, when I was growing up, my parents would say to me, today this, tomorrow this. My dad used to call me and say, I want to talk to you. Very, very gentle, you know, soft-spoken man. My mom's very loud and empowering and strong. My dad is very gentle. And my dad will call me and say, come and see me in the house. And I'll go sit down on the bed. Say, Bridget, you know, today you said you're doing this. Tomorrow you said you're doing this. My daughter, can't you just choose one? And I'll be like, oh my God, my heart be beating. I don't want to disrespect him. I don't want to say anything. I'm like, oh Dad, I don't want this conversation because I want to do everything with my life. And I was brought up in a home, my parents wanted me to be safe. My mom would say, why didn't you just do nursing? Why didn't you choose one thing? Because if you have your eyes and your hands everywhere, you can't really achieve much. But I've proved them wrong. I'm an author, I'm a consultant, I've got a beauty business, I've got a fashion business, I'm now doing interior design. So I want you to know that based on the word of the Lord that I have read and on my personal experiences over the last 11 years, it is possible to explore certain aspects of yourself and do it in a wise way so that you don't overwhelm yourself, you don't overspend, you don't waste your resources, and you don't sacrifice your health and your family's time. I've done it and I teach people to do it. So this is what the course is about. I'm going to stop now and hand over to Elizabeth.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bridget. Wow, that was powerful testimony and story as well. So quick question, everyone. How many people have more than 2 income streams? Just drop a 2 in the chat if you have more than 2 income streams. So maybe a job and a side business. Or if it's, because Bridget, I think she just mentioned like six income streams. Like, she definitely is one of the persons that, you know, there is a lot that saying, you know, focus on one thing, and Bridget is like, nope, I'm going to do it all. Yeah. But one thing about Bridget that she didn't say is that she does focus on one thing at a time, even though she does everything, but she blocks her times 3 months at a time. So Victoria says she has 2. Wow. Okay. How many people have more than 3? More than 3 income streams. Right. Okay. Well, how many people want to have more than 1 income stream? If that's on your heart, sometimes you feel a bit like Bridget was saying, that sometimes we feel a bit agitated, restless about, what am I doing? I'm supposed to be doing something, but you don't know what it is. And most of the time, who we have, me, exactly. Segemoto Shaw says me. And Abiola says me too. Please tell me if I pronounced your name right. Please correct me if I didn't. I don't want to get it wrong. And he says, I do. Yeah, exactly. So sometimes, you know, we have this feeling in our heart. It feels somehow like tense, right? You feel like you're agitated, like you should be doing something. You don't know what it is, or you have an idea of what it is, but it's not clear. You're not sure how to take action. And it's not your fault that you don't know how to take action. And sometimes you feel like maybe you're not good enough to take that action. But like Bridget said, the same Spirit of God is in all of us, right? He gives us the creativity. We have the ability already. It's in you, it's in me. The only thing stopping us is the idea that we can't do it. And that idea is it's from society, from things around us that tell us, oh no, you need to follow this particular path, right? So how many people have been trying to, one second. How many people have tried to start a business? Well, I'll wait for you guys to drop that in the chat if you've tried to start a second business, but it hasn't worked out in the past. And yeah, okay, Tinola says me, exactly. And most of the time, you're trying now, wonderful Xanthini. Most of the time, the reason why it doesn't seem to be working out is when we don't have these foundational things in place. And guess what? When we start talking about these foundational things, sometimes it feels, Victoria says she's tried 3 ideas. 3 ideas. You are on a roll. Don't give up. Most of the time, it's because we don't have these foundational 3 things in place. When those things are, when it's there, it's so clear. It's so clear what you're supposed to do. It's so clear how you're supposed to take action. We all have this creativity within us, and we have the ability to have multiple, not just 1, not just 2, not just 3. We have the ability to have multiple streams of income. And guess what? For everyone, what that is going to be unique to you. How you're going to create wealth is going to be completely unique to you. It's not going to look like anything else, because your beautiful skills, your unique skills, are exactly what you need to make your business successful. Everything you need to make it successful is already in you. The power you need to make it successful is already in you, because God already gives us that power. But the Bible talks about God has given us a power of hasn't given us a power of fear. And most times we're operating from fear, not from faith, right? So I'm so thankful that you all stayed here to the end. I did say I had a surprise for you, and I do. And I just want to encourage you as we round up that, that the rules of money have changed. God's rules haven't changed. They've been the same since the beginning. He had given us everything that we need to work, to be successful. He's given it to us already. We don't need to look outside ourselves. Sometimes we need help to experience it and live it out more. So for those of us who would like Bridget's help in helping clarify in the next 3 weeks, what that means is before the end of October. And what that means is this 2020 is not going down like a corona year for you. It's not a corona year for you. It's the year that you got clarity on what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it and the steps to take action. It's not the year that you're going to say, well, I've written off 2020. No, we still have 2.5 more months in 2020, and we can make that powerful. Bridget has offered an amazing deal, guys, for you. If you've worked with her before, you know what working with her costs, but she has offered an amazing deal, less than 10% of her fee, and she's going to be giving herself for the next 3 weeks to everyone who wants to make this an amazing year for themselves. You want to start your new income stream. You want the tools to be able to set that solid foundation and be able to repeat it in any other income stream that you want. If that's you, drop your name in, say yes in the chat if you are interested in getting her help in the next 3 weeks. And I'm going to bring this gift that I have. Yes, Victor says yes. Sandy says yes, exact. Great. And guys, yes. And guys, I have you know, I said already, information without education is, you know, they're two different things, and sometimes we get it twisted. And just to round up, you know, I'd been thinking, I wanted to share, help people, you know, with their money, with their business, you know, and give them the skills that they needed to succeed. And that's what we do. For the last few months throughout this Corona period, we've been sharing in these monthly masterclasses how you can increase your streams of income through different routes. We've shared how you can increase your streams of income through all the different routes, through property, through investing in stocks, through business now. But sometimes we just don't take action because we don't have that extra support and that extra accountability. And that's where, you know, part of what Bridget is offering is totally different, because she's going to be helping you live every week. So you're not going to go on your own to study by yourself, because I know you're not going to do it. Your kids are going to disturb you. Something's going to come up. You're going to have to clean the house. So that's not going to be an excuse. Before the end of this year, if your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to gain full clarity on what you have been called to do and take action in building that new income stream before the end of October. So I'm going to drop a link and you will see that she has, I will just drop it now. And you guys, and you can go to my website and see. She has kindly, okay, yeah. So 1 second. So with the, I'll drop it again. Sorry. Yeah, great. So starting next week, Monday, Bridget is going to give an hour of her time to talk with you about these three things: our concepts, our ideas, and our branding for any of your businesses and all of your businesses, every single one of you. And she's going to go in depth and show you exactly what you need so that you can get a clear plan, and you don't have to be going around in circles, so that you can bring everything that God has given you out into life and into the marketplace. And she's going to do that, and I've put a link there in the chat. Click on it. You can go there. You can see a breakdown of exactly what's going to happen week by week. Finally, I also have a bonus for everyone, for some of you that decide you want some more. On week 1, you are going to talk about concepts, right? On week 2, we're going to talk about ideas. And week 3, we're going to talk about branding, just like Bridget said. Week 4, that's the first week in November, next month's masterclass. It's going to be an exclusive masterclass for some of you who want to upgrade to that. And that's an extra bonus, which is, we're going to be talking about wealth mindset mastery. And I'm going to help you with break down all the thought patterns that keep you from actually growing your wealth. And I'm going to help you. It's going to be a 3-hour intensive class where I'm going to help you put together your own unique wealth plan. That is your own 5-year plan, so that you know what you need to be doing every single month for the next 5 years for you to get to the place that you want to be. In addition to that, if you want further help, there's another option. If you want Bridget and I to help you further for an extra 4 weeks to work with you personally, so that you can not just have this idea fleshed out, but you actually have taken action and have, and produce your actual product or service. You've actually set up the company. And then there's another option for you to work with us to do that. And for the first 3 people who sign up in any of the options, I am going to post you brand new hard copies. And you see, I've bought it already because I know. Hard copies of this book, Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover. Why? Because if I gave you this book, most likely most of you wouldn't read it. But while we're working together, you will probably read it, because you'll have the accountability to do so. And you have the accountability to take charge of your money and also your business. So step 1 is increasing your income streams. That's wealth creation. right? You're creating it. Then you want to have the education. You're getting the information, and then you're going to get the education so that you can really apply it together, right? Okay, so I'm going to, and that is exactly what we're offering. To work with Bridget for the first 3 weeks, it's just £257. Can you believe that? She's offering her time to work with you guys for £257. That is remarkable. I cannot believe that she's doing it that, for that price. So definitely take on, and there's not there, she's not going to be able to work with every single one of us, but for those, if you're interested, join and take one of the limited spaces for £257. It's a bargain. It is a huge bargain. And then if you want to add, the wealth workshop that we're going to do in November, then you can upgrade to the next tier, and everything is in the link. Everything is in the link, and I'm so glad that you guys have been here. You've shared with me all your heart's desires. If you have any questions, please drop it in the chat. If anyone has any, where can we see the recording? Okay, the recording of this session. The recording of this session will be sent out to your emails. You registered, so you'll get the recording directly. Yeah. Let me know in the chat. Thank you. Great. So that's amazing. Wow, our time is far gone. I'm so blessed to have you all here. Before we go, let me know in the chat, what was your big takeaway from this session? What was your big takeaway from this session? Was it the fact that Bridget said how most of our time is spent working anyway? That was big for me, because, if we're going to be working anyway, are we working to build kingdom wealth, or are we working to just not be broke, right? If we're going to be working anyway. Yeah. Another thing that stuck out for me was that we are going to have to give accounts for our gifts and talents. We all have gifts and talents, and we're going to have to give accounts for that, right? And I thought that was so eminent, and that really stuck out for me. So let me know in the chat, what was your big takeaway as we round up? Bringing the 5 offices into the business structure. Bringing the 5 offices into the business structure. Yeah, exactly. Great. That's an amazing one. Any other ones? Yeah. And that was really unique, Bridget, because I've never really heard it that way put before, and I thought that was amazing. I thought it was amazing how, if you can be a teacher, and how that is also can be interpreted as being a lecturer as well. I thought that was amazing. The importance of concept, the foundation. Yes, that was a good one. Sometimes, and for me as well, when you were sharing how your client was resistant to going back to the foundation, I found that it was really interesting, because sometimes we think that it's easy. I know what my personality is. Just let me get my business. Let me have my customers. But most of the times it's those easy things. Why are you doing it? Why do you want to have another income stream? What's your purpose? Who are you called to serve? Who do you want to be? What kind of person do you want to serve? How do you want to serve them? Those simple questions really expose more of your, at the foundations to having your business really take off. So that is really amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Giving permission to be myself. Oh, yes. Giving permission to be myself. I'm free to dream and to understand that my Father's business is urgent. I'm tired of going around in circles. Thank you. Yes. Honestly, guys, you have permission to be yourself. And this is something that I did not give myself permission to be for so long, because we have this concept in our head of how we should behave and what we should do. So it's so key. You are giving permission to be, yes, thank you. This was amazing. And my note pages is full of notes. Who are you called to serve? Yes, this one definitely needs meeting with my, exactly. Concept ideally, Tinola says, knowing what is my gift and how to leverage it. Yes, that's amazing. And guess what, guys? We all have multiple gifts. We all do. Even when you think that you don't, it's because it's hiding, and it's hiding behind the doubt and the fear and the confusion and the overwhelm and the tiredness, right? It's all hiding there. And everything you need to be the best, to be the most successful person, is already in you. And here's one other thing that I truly took away and I believe is true. If anybody can do anything, I can do it. And that's the same truth for you. If anyone can do anything, I can do it, right? Like, I truly believe it. But what makes it easy for me to do it is because I'm doing things that are in line with my gifts and in line with my talents, and I'm living my true, authentic self. That is amazing. Thank you so much. So yes, definitely take advantage of this offer. There are limited spaces for this course at this price. So please take advantage. I have never seen Bridget do a course and give her time live, not even recorded, live at this price before. So take full advantage of it now. I will drop the link again in the chat for you. Take full advantage. Victoria said, business is to make money for you, and hobby takes your, exactly. Your hobby takes your money and your business brings you money. So you have to choose. Do I want a hobby or a business, right? And if you're running a business and it's constantly not making money, then you need to get the help that you need to clarify what is going on. If you don't see what's going on, you need to get the help to clarify what is going on. So I appreciate you all. Thank you all for hanging out with me this month. As always, if you have any questions, please drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat, or send me an email. That's what I meant to say. Send me an email if you have any questions and you have any things that you want to clarify. And I will see you all next week. So next week, the course is going to start. It's going to be 3 weeks till the end of October. Super short, super compact, and it's starting next week. Take full advantage of all the opportunities that you have in front of you. We all have opportunities to grow and to be who we want to be. Sometimes we see them as opportunities. Sometimes we see them as obstacles. The choice is yours, right? The choice is yours to see them as an obstacle or an opportunity. So check out the website, read through it thoroughly, and send me a message. Sonola says, thank you. It was really helpful. Yes, this was like my Sunday. This was my Sunday right here. Thank you so much, Bridget. I really appreciate that. I really do. Thank you, Sonola. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for joining. And we'll see you. Chantel says, thank you, very exciting. Yeah, thank you, very insightful. Thank you very much, Chantel. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you, goodbye. Thank you. Oh, awesome. Wow, thank you. Okay, so while everyone is going, I will just share my screen just because. And I'm going to share my screen while people are logging off. And hold on, new share. Yeah. Okay. New share. Okay. Thank you, Annie. Thank you. Let's see. So I wonder if people can you see my screen? Bridget, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, great. Okay, yeah. So I'm just sharing it with those of you who are left while you're logging off. And this is basically the site that you're going to go to. And there is the course. It's 3 weeks live. It's £257 to sign up, but you can upgrade to the gold or the silver and get the bonuses. Yeah, and then your instructors are myself and Bridget. Super exciting. And the classes include week 1, you're talking about concepts, week 2, ideas, week 3, branding. Then November 7th, we are going to be having the wealth mindset mastery. And for those who want the extra coaching and accountability, you can sign up for that as well. And then we've got some testimonials of people who've worked with us. We've got a video testimonial. You can watch that. Some more wonderful testimonials. I'm so blessed of some of our clients. Some more videos. Some more testimonials. And yeah, so that's the site. You can sign up. And we start next week. Great. And I'm going to be posting out these books to the first 3 people who sign up. Okay. Awesome. Well, oh gosh, still quite a lot of people.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Kenneth. I'm very well, thank you. Okay. Well, wonderful. Thank you for being here. And I'm just going to end this then. Okay. Goodbye.